I'm gonna jump right into this. It just kind of because I'm going to introduce Craig in a few minutes. But I've got this shoe in my hand. And I got a bag full of shoes here, not because I'm a weirdo, but because I have this theory in life, and this is really true. If you knew me, you'd know how serious I am about this. I really believe that everybody, and I mean everybody in this room, has a story, and your story really does matter. I have to say it again because some of you weren't listening, not because you were disrespecting me, but you're probably in the habit of disrespecting yourself. So let me say this again. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody has a story, and your story really does matter. I didn't think my story mattered. I didn't like Assemblies for a lot of reasons. Most of them were stupid, but some of them, one of the reasons I didn't like it is because I walked into a room like this, I would look at you and I would compare myself to you, right? I'd go, your story matters, your story matters. I didn't think my story mattered. My story, I'm not gonna go to the whole thing, but basically, I started doing drugs when I was in 6th grade, all the way through to high school. And when people ask me why I did drugs, I can tell you what they want me to tell you. They want me to stand here right now and tell you that I did drugs because of peer pressure, but that was not the issue for me. I'm not saying that's not the issue for some people, but for me, that was not the issue. The issue for me with drugs had to do with one word, and the word is pain. I'm not talking about broken leg pain, physical pain. I'm talking about, I have a memory of my dad leaving my family when I was 5 years old. I remember sitting on the front steps watching my dad, who was my hero at the time, packing the car, putting boxes, putting suitcases in the back of the car, and he left our family. He came back 3 years later, he had a new wife, he had a new kid, he had a whole new world, and I wasn't part of that world. I don't say that for you to feel sorry for me. I'm not asking anybody in this room to feel sorry for me, but I know looking back that that day was the beginning of a bunch of messed up stuff that happened. My mom, I'll just put it this way, I'm not trying to disrespect her, but I gotta tell you the truth. My mom probably just shouldn't have had kids. She came from a long line of abuse. My great-grandmother abused my grandfather abused my mom. When it became my mom's turn to have kids, my mom just did what she saw. That was her normal, so she just did what she saw. And back in those days, what happened in your house, stayed in your house. It was a stupid rule, whatever. So you didn't tell people stuff. And that messed me up because a lot of stuff went on before anybody ever found out about it. And I say that because, listen, again, I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me. I'm just saying somebody offered me drugs. Peer pressure had nothing to do with it. I did drugs because I liked it. And you don't get many adults admitting that they like drugs because they don't want to condone drugs, which is fine, I get that. But I don't think it's respectful to lie to you, so I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I did drugs basically not because I was trying to get high. I have kids your age, right? They're like, Dad, what was it like getting high? I don't know. Because I never chased a high. High to me is like some weird, there's Mick Jagger on a butterfly. What? I wasn't looking for that. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for numb. I like the feeling of not feeling. That's why I will never walk into a room like this, put my finger in anybody's face, and judge them for doing drugs or anything else. First of all, I don't follow you home at 3:30 in the afternoon. And second of all, I don't know why you do what you do. I'm not interested in what people do. That sounds really contradictory to a motivational speaker, but I really don't care what people do, even my own kids. I don't care what they're doing. I want to know why they're doing it. There's reasons people do what they do. We can debate all day long whether somebody should be doing something. I just want to know why they're doing it. Because when you get to the why, you figure out what's really going on. How many guys know who Johnny Depp is? He's that ugly guy? Actually, I said that joke. I was at a school in New York, and a girl stood up, and she goes, I'll slit your throat. I'm like, calm down. He said something really good about drugs I think you guys will really like. He said this. He said, I just wanted to self-medicate, to numb myself through liquor. It's how I dealt with life, reality, stress, change, sadness, memories, the list goes on. He goes, I was really trying to feel nothing. I don't know if you know this about Johnny Depp, but he grew up in South Florida. His parents went through a divorce when he was in high school. I found this quote in Rolling Stone magazine. He goes, I think it has less, talking about drugs, I think it has less to do with recreation and more to do with the fact that we need to escape from our brains. We need to escape from everyday life. It's self-medication, and that's the problem. I think it's interesting that Johnny Depp didn't say we need to escape from tragic things that happen to us, because that would limit the room. Certainly there are people in this room that have had tragic things happen to you, but most of us, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's like every day just beats the crap out of you, and you could be getting worn out crazy and nobody will know for one reason. Look at my face, what am I doing right now? How many of you have learned how to smile on the outside, but you're not smiling on the inside, right? Yeah, you learned that by 5th grade. You don't want people to know what's going on. You're like, yeah, I'm doing good. I want to kill you, but I'm doing good, right? And that's dangerous. I get it. I get why we do that. I'm not telling you you shouldn't do that in some places, but I'm just saying it's dangerous too, because you never know what's going on behind that smile, right? I'll give you an example. I got a call from a principal in Omaha, Nebraska, and asked us to come in and do a school, 2,500 kids in the school. He had a kid die, a sophomore in high school, die at a party. He didn't get killed. He didn't commit suicide. It was sort of an accident. What happened was kids were coming in, putting pills in a bowl. Most kids were taking one out, putting it in. He was like just not well in his heart and his head. So he took a handful of them, put them in his mouth, and basically whatever he took, the combination stopped his heart. He had a heart attack. So I get called in to go to the school. Like when the kids came back from school, I was there. And so we did the assemblies, did multiple assemblies. And then his mom called me about 3 weeks later. His name was Dylan. And she started talking to me about Dylan and how awesome he was, and baseball player, and popular kid, and all this stuff, right? And then she asked me this question. Well, first she said to me, I wish I would have paid attention to what Dylan kept trying to tell me. I said, what was that? She goes, he kept talking about the pressure he was under as a high school student. And she goes, I didn't listen to him. Now listen, I have kids, right? So I'm listening to this for a couple of reasons. One of it, I'm a professional, but the other reason is because I'm a dad. So she said, basically, my adult perspective, I'm looking at his life. He smiles a lot. He's got good grades. He's doing everything he needs to do. But he obviously was suffering in here and in here. And so then she asked me the question, which blew me out of the water. She goes, Mike, do you know what pressure he's talking about? Because I still don't know. And not to be cocky, but I said, yeah, I do. It's the same pressure you guys face every day when you walk into your school. Either this one or the one, your home school. You walk into that school, and it's not like a school. A school. It'd be great if it was just a school where you came in, you learned, you went home. But you know as well as I do, as soon as you walk in that door, you're being judged. You're being judged, and by the way, you're not being judged by your whole life, because there's even your best friends don't know 100% about who you are and what makes you who you are. But here you are walking down the hallway of this school, and here comes this pressure, right? People are looking at you and they're measuring you by what you're wearing, who your friends are, what music you listen to, whatever you post, all that stuff, right? It's coming at you. And sometimes the weight of that like I'm on a stage right now, right? I'm here for an hour. Well, actually 20 minutes today. And so basically bottom line is I'm being judged, not in a bad way, but you're judging me like, is he funny? Is he saying something that matters? But you don't get paid for it. You walk down the hallway and people are judging you. And sometimes the weight of that gets overwhelming. Raise your hand if I'm right about that. And I'm not trying to disrespect any of the adults in this room, because I have immense respect for them. And I'll put myself in this category. I don't think we as adults, and beware of any adult that tells you they can, but we as adults really don't know what that's like for you. When an adult comes up to me and says, oh yeah, we had pressure when we were in high school, I just pick up my phone and go, no you didn't, not like this. You're not on TV every day. You don't have the potential to be on television every day. When you make a mistake, it's broadcast all over the place. That's a lot of pressure. When people are under a pain or pressure, they do stuff to make it stop, right? They go, I want this to stop, so they reach for the bottom shelf. They go, it was drugs, it was alcohol, it was girls, I just medicated, I just want it to stop. And so Johnny Depp calls it self-medication. I call it reaching for the bottom shelf. But let me explain self-medication. If I had a cut in my arm right now, it was nasty, it was infected, it needed medical attention, I could do that, right? Go to the hospital. But you guys know as well as I do that if I let them touch that, which I'm going to have to make it better, it's going to hurt. Well, what if I don't want it to hurt? What if I don't trust that those people really know what they're talking about? I could just take Tylenol. If it's 6 hours, I wouldn't even know I had a cut. It's called masking. People do it all the time. They cover up the real issue. The real issue is the cut. Tylenol does nothing for your cut. It just makes you not feel the cut. Well, the drugs and the alcohol that I was doing growing up did nothing for my cut. My dad never really came back in my life. My mom is still messed up. Well, somebody might say, well, at least she didn't feel it. Okay, you could say that, but watch this. If you broke your leg today, pain in that moment would be your best friend. That sounds ridiculous, but it really is. Because if you don't feel pain, you'll do something really stupid. You'll get up, you'll walk on that leg, and you'll do more damage to the leg. We all know people that are walking around with broken lives, right? They're walking around with broken lives. We all know people that aren't looking at their real issues. They're just smoking, drinking, doing whatever, and it's not good for them. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not trying to judge anybody. I'm just saying it's not good for them. It's not. And I don't think it's just drugs and alcohol that people self-medicate with. If you told me 15 years ago, if you said, Mike, if you're going to start going to schools and talk about pain, you're going to have to talk about cutting, I wouldn't have believed you back then, but I believe you now, because pretty much every school I go to, I'm going to talk to somebody who has or is cutting. I had this girl walk up to me in Montana and she gave me a cloth. 14-year-old girl hands it to me. I open up the cloth, there's a razor blade in it. She goes, would you help me stop cutting? She met me a half hour ago, and now she's asking me, a stranger, to help her. So I looked at her, I said, sweetheart, I'll try, but can I ask you a question? I go, why does pain take away pain? I don't get cutting. Best explanation I ever got on cutting was not from Google, psychiatrist, or a book. It was from her. She goes, it's like taking emotional pain, it turns it into physical pain. She goes, I can control the physical pain, I can't control the emotional pain. Raise your hand if that makes any sense to you at all. I'm not judging her, I'm not condoning it either. I'm just saying I get it. When people are in pain and pressure, they want it to stop. I'm not one of those adults that thinks you can't be in love as a teenager. I think you can, but I also watch this as a youth pastor. I watch people go, hey, I don't like me, so I'm going to date somebody to like me. So if they like me, maybe I'll like me. That's a recipe for getting used. I had this girl walk up to me at an assembly one time. She stood next to me, and she goes, I know the guy that I'm dating right now. She goes, I know he's using me. I go, break up with him. She goes, I would rather hear I love you fake than not hear it at all. I'm like, what do you mean by that? She goes, I don't go home to a nice loving family where I'm told I'm loved and I'm cared about. She goes, I know he's playing me, but what's my alternative? Not to hear I love you? Let me say that question again, because that's really important. What's my alternative? Not to hear I love you? I don't know who you are. I've never met most of you, but you know what? I don't think there's a person in this room that doesn't want to feel like you matter to somebody. And not because of what you can do for them. By the way, if you have to do something to matter, you don't matter. Raise your hand if I'm right about that. If he asks you to send a pic, girls, you don't matter. It's the pic that matters, right? So I mean, you all know that. But basically what I'm saying is, when you don't feel like you matter, it messes you up. It messes with your head. I don't have that feeling right now. I've had it before, but I don't have it right now because my wife loves me. I know she does. I catch her looking at me sometimes, not like in a creepy way, but like I'll be in the other room, she'll be in the kitchen, she'll be staring at me, and I'm like, what's up? See you tonight. No, my wife is hot too. I have a hot wife. I really do. You guys want to see a picture of my wife? Yeah. Wait, dude, what was that? This guy's like, yeah! I will kill you. I'm just kidding, That's threatening. You can't do that. All right, here's my wife. Oh, that's not my wife. She's the one on the, thank you. She's the one on the right. Isn't she hot? That's my dog Jack. Isn't he awesome? He's a big Rottweiler. Thank you. No, it's a great feeling, but you know what? When you don't have that feeling, you don't go, oh, okay, I'll just sit here and wait for it to come. And I'm not even talking about romance. I'm talking about, there's some people in this room, I know there is, that go home and you don't feel like you're loved because they got all kinds of crap going on in their lives and it had nothing to do with you. You're just born into it and you don't get that feeling. I know what that's like. So when you get that feeling, you don't go, hey, I'll just sit here and wait for it. No, you go looking for it in the wrong places a lot of times. You know why I know that? Because I got sisters. And me. My dad left. My mom brought morons into our house. So you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to call them names now. I hate that when we do that in our society. Oh, that girl did that, so she's that. Really? Really, you can say that? I can't. Because I'm too smart. I know there's a story behind that action. I know there is. Just like you. I know there's a story behind your action. Don't get judged. Don't go into that box. Because there's reasons people do what they do. And when I had daughters, you guys, I wanted to make sure my daughters knew how beautiful and how valuable they are. And I got 4 beautiful, well, one's ugly. I got 3 beautiful daughters. No, I'm just kidding, that's messed up. You imagine if I was that dad? I was like, you're the ugly one, get in the basement now. No. That's so horrible. No, you guys want to see my daughters? Yeah! Yeah, I knew it. You touch my daughters and okay, I won't say it. Those are my babies. Here's my son. Here's a picture of my son. That's his girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now let me just say something real quick. There's only one reason why some of you in this room have been or will be used, And it's not because the person who's using you is a bad person. That may be true, but that's not the issue. Here's the issue. The issue is you. The issue is you accept the love you think you deserve, right? So if you allowing yourself to get hurt, allowing yourself to be put down, that's not the issue of the person that's doing it. There's plenty of people like that out in the world. Let me just tell you right now, I'm a lot older than you. Plenty of those people. But here's the thing: is they're them. You have to be you. You got to believe in you. I had a girl walk into my office when I was a youth pastor in Denver, and she comes in, and she was a pretty girl. She was, all the interns in my youth group thought she was hot, and so they were saying all stuff about her. She walks in one day, there's a bunch of people in my office. She goes, "Why do I always attract bad guys?" So apparently she had like 4 boyfriends in a row that used her. So she goes, "I always attract these bad guys. Why?" And so people in my office trying to be nice to her, so they said, they lied, basically. They said, "No, that's not you. Someday you'll meet the right guy. He'll come around, blah, 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 riding his white horse, you know, whatever." And so I just looked at her and I said, "No, it's you." and she looked at me and she goes, because this has a good ending. She goes, "You don't even know me." I go, "I don't need to know you to answer the question. Watch this. And if some of you get this, this will change your life. You attract what you respect. You attract what you respect. If you value and respect who you are, you automatically attract people who are going to respect you. But if you don't, if you lay in bed at night, you put yourself down, you say things, mean things to yourself, and you compare yourself with every supermodel in the freaking world, you know what? I'll tell you what. You're going to walk into this school and you're going to allow people to hurt you because they know they can, because they're following your lead. Raise your hand if that makes any sense. So the issue is not getting the right boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever. The answer is to fight for your own value. And Craig and I are going to make this fight a little easier for you because I wrote a book. But I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to sell it to you, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm sorry to say that we ran out of them. The first assembly, they just took them all. And half of them didn't get the ones that wanted them didn't get them. But we'll make sure you get some. And it was a way to get them online. But it's a walkthrough on your value. You've got to know you're valuable. Well, Mike, my dad told me I was a piece of crap all my life. Your dad is not the source of your value. Take a deep breath, everybody. That's proof that you're valuable. That's proof. That's proof. I'm going to close out in just a minute, but I tell you, I got these shoes because when I stand here and I hold up a shoe and I say everybody has value, everybody has a story that matters. What happens is, and I didn't realize this when I started doing this 10 years ago, that people were going to give me their shoes and send them to me, right? My mailman thinks I have issues, right? He's like, "Here's another shoe, weirdo." Right? Actually, I can tell you something funny before I get to this. I was in Florida, and this girl walks up and she saw my shoes, and she goes, "Ew." She goes, just like that, "Ew." Right? She goes, "Why do you have a bag of other people's shoes?" And so she said it really snotty, right? So I picked up one of the shoes, and I just stared at her, and I was like, "Because I smell them when I'm lonely." Don't clap for that. No, she left. Anyways, because I get these shoes, a couple years ago I moved to Colorado, and I took all the shoes, I put them in my driveway, and I took a picture of them and put them on Facebook. When I was putting the shoes back into the bags, I didn't realize, I forgot about a lot of them, and I started reading them, and because kids write their stories on them, because you know what? Because they believe me. They believe me when I stand here and I say, everybody in this room has a story, your story matters. And so they write their story on the shoe and they give it to me or they mail it to me or whatever. And I want to show you. I want to show you what's behind the smile. Because when I walk into your school today, I walked into this morning and you weren't here, but the other guys were, and as they were walking through the doors, I could see smiles on their face. But in my head, you know what I'm saying to myself? Because I know too much. I know that there's things behind that smile. I know that there's hurt and there's pain behind that smile. And so this is proof.
I can hold my breath. I can bite my tongue. I can stay awake for days if that's what you want. Be a number one. I can fake a smile. I can force a laugh. I can dance and play the part if that's what you ask. give you all I am. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But I'm only human, and I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human, and I crash and I break down. Your words in my head, knives in my heart. You build me up and then I fall apart, 'cause I'm only human. I can turn it on, be a good machine. I can hold the weight of worlds if that's what you need. Be your everything. I can do it. I can do it. I'll get through it. But I'm only human, and I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human, and I crash and I break down. Words in my head, knives in my heart. You build me up and then I fall apart, 'cause I'm only human. I'm only human. I'm only human. Just a little human. I can take so much till I've had